My name is Amanda Starkey, and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about myself. But first, I'll start by talking about all of you. Simply by stating that everyone has a story. But what good is a main character without any supporters? In every story, there is always something or someone who inspires the main character, thus being the beginning of their story. And I, just like everyone else, have someone who has impacted my life in that way, and in more ways than one. Today I'm going to tell you about my dad and how he has changed my life. I almost wish that I could say that my dad is just like any other average father figure, but that would not have been farther from the truth. My dad, Billy Starkey, is a half Asian, half European American who was born and raised in the heart of an unknown town called St. Paul, Nebraska, whose only option of ever leaving that town was through college scholarships, which he did get in insane quantities and never fails to brag about. And today, he is a self-made, hard-working, hard-headed military veteran / entrepreneur workaholic. I honestly can't even remember the last time they had a full night of sleep. When I was young, Dad was not around very often due to his frequent and long-term deployments or business trips, and often to places my mom and I weren't even allowed to know about. When he was around, he always knew how to steal the heart of his little girl, i.e. me, and always knew how to make the time worthwhile. I still remember what he looked like in his green uniform, and I remember how he used to love wearing his hats. There was even a time when we lived in Colorado that he picked me up from preschool in that very same green uniform. And I was so proud that I ran into his arms and as if I hadn't seen him in months, and I brought my preschool teacher to tears. Little did she know he actually had been home for a few weeks, but after she let me go home early with him, after she was so touched, we didn't really have the heart to tell her the truth. Around the time I was about 5, he left the Air Force and worked for a contracting business, which of course was still utterly time-consuming. But even then, and especially now, Dad always seemed to find time for family. A few years ago, he left the workforce and is now building up his own business, or businesses. Yeah, multiple. He is an inspiration to me because no matter what life throws at him, he always perseveres and he just keeps going. And he never settles for an education, career, or life that is ordinary. And he is constantly doing everything in his power to better himself, and not even for his own benefit, it's for the benefit of his family. Our family. If it hadn't been for this, my life would have been entirely different. It would have been without constant moves across the country. I would have never been to Guam or Hawaii, which I have been to now. I would have been without military events and galas and softball games and all that stuff, lectures about the importance of education, and self-defense lessons in the basement because he was a 5th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't even understand that. So. Without him, I can see my life being much duller and certainly nothing much to brag about. Because of all the opportunities he placed in my life, I now feel motivated and inspired to work hard and do something important with my life, and hopefully bring as much to a family of my own as he did for me one day. So today, I told you about my life and how my life was so greatly impacted by one person. When I was a child, I thought my father was the smartest man in the world, and to be honest, I still kind of think that today. But the way he impacts me the most is through the fact that he always somehow knows how to build me up and tear me down. He knows exactly when and how to do it. And it's kind of scary how good he is at it. I couldn't have been who I am today without him being in my life. But I think I can speak for everyone when I say that life's path is paved by the people who cross it. And after all, What good is life without anyone to share it with?